Actionversary week has arrived. This is a very special Monday edition of the Bulletproof Podcast. I'm your host, Chris the Brain. Joining me once again, it is the Toyman, Chris DePetrillo.
Celebrating Actionversary, celebrating being back with my guys on another podcast, and I hope you are all celebrating the fact that you are listening to us here and now.
Absolutely, and the third member of the Bulletproof Freebirds, it is Ryan Campbell.
What's going on, everyone? Happy Actionversary. Hope it's treating you all well.
Indeed, and again, this one coming out to kick the whole big Actionversary week off. This is the biggest week of the year for bulletproofaction.com. In addition to this fine podcast on Monday, we have Bruceploitation from A to Z, written by guest columnist Sean Cavender, who is one of the biggest Bruceploitation fans I know. Tuesday, we'll have the Toyman's latest edition of No Surrender Cinema, talking about The Stray, starring Michael Madsen, a little PM Entertainment action for us, Chris.
That's right. The late Michael Madsen. We want to also give a shout out to PM Entertainment. We love PM Entertainment, and this is one that we have not yet covered. And also, another BPA favorite in that movie, the one and only Zags, is in that one as well. So certainly well worthy of an Actionversary post.
Zags deserves all the coverage he can get. Matt Spector has 10 things you may not have known about Goldfinger for Wednesday. Speaking of Zags, Thursday you might see him in my column, What If New Image had a Blu-ray box set?
I would be down even more.
I know. This is one of those times I'm like, I hope this doesn't actually come true, but it might, and then I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do. Friday is the big post. It is the ultimate Sirio Santiago countdown. So many special guests involved in that one. I especially want to thank Big Mike Leader because he has been invaluable to that entire post, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about when you check it out on Friday. How about this, ladies and gentlemen? Chad Cruz has done his tribute. He has done 20 Reasons Why You Rock, American Ninja, just in time for American Ninja's 40th anniversary on Saturday. And then the canon action will continue because it's the big scene of the week finale featuring the one and the only Charles Bronson. That is one hell of a week.
Charles Bronson, who is soon hitting 4K. That big 4K release for Death Wish 3 is
with
coming.
The alternate ending on it.
I was going to say, Brain, you were very excited about when the news slipped out about an alternate ending.
I cannot wait.
All the versions you've seen of that movie slipped out and across different places.
That one's really only had one. It's Death Wish 2 that's had the most variations. But yeah, that's always made me think, like, why did Death Wish 2 have so many different forms? But you never hear about 3 or 4. Like, what, did they just have those movies down perfect and nothing got cut? Or not? Come on. We'll find out.
Well, I actually did some digging and I found out what the alternate ending is.
Don't spoil it.
Martin Balsam gets a different hat.
Okay, thank you. I knew it was not legitimate. Also, we're going to have some bonus posts because, Ryan Campbell, you're going to continue your coverage of Alien Earth.
That's right. It's been really good. And the reception of Alien fans and just, very TV goers seem to be really liking it. It's been cool.
And I will be attending a screening tomorrow night for Caught Stealing. So you can check out my review of that as well, probably. Early Wednesday. Probably.
Do you have to steal the tickets and not get caught?
I'm invited. I've been invited. Cool. So that will all be coming up. So a big week again, biggest week of the year for bulletproofaction.com. And we want to match that level here on this special Actionversary week episode. So I wanted to pick a movie that really encapsulated everything that is great about the genre, and a movie that I discovered because I was writing on this site and creating content for this site. And it was actually a movie that was suggested by friend of the site, Mr. Paul London. And I had to track it down back then on VHS. I eventually picked up the Laserdisc. This is something, Chris, that desperately needs a Blu-ray release.
Yes, absolutely. No Retreat, No Surrender, the original one, we got that great
Right?
Blu-ray a
You
couple
would
years
thought
ago,
like, oh,
which
this is
now I believe is already out of
yeah,
print.
and that was like, okay, here we go. We're starting at the beginning, and we'll work our. No, it just stopped. It just stopped. We got no.
Nothing for part two, and nothing for part three. I mentioned off air that this is one that I've really only got my DVD copy is because it was a converted VHS
Right,
rip, and you talked about only having the VHS and the
right,
Laserdisc, and the pickings are ripe. Even if we do like a double shot, put two and three in the same thing. You don't want to do two separate releases, just let's go, like let's get the
yeah,
trilogy. Even though one has nothing to do with two, and three has nothing to do with either.
right. They're in. I mean, yeah, a seasonal 7 box set is what we really need. Just make it happen. But yeah, we'll be talking about No Retreat, No Surrender 3, Blood Brothers, my favorite of the unrelated No Retreat, No Surrender movies, by far. And this one arrived in United States video stores on March 4th, 1991. And again, it is a seasonal film directed by Lucas Lowe, who directed two other seasonal films that we've already talked about here on the podcast, The King of the Kickboxers, and just earlier this year, American Shaolin.
Well, we covered it earlier this year.
Right. What did I
It
say?
didn't come out earlier.
Oh.
You just said earlier this year.
Oh, you're right.
They want someone to think that these 1990s
No,
straight to US video store releases, one of them came out earlier this year.
we covered it. I apologize.
Trevor got it all as timeless, Ryan.
He is. That is true. And it was written by Keith W. Strandberg, who recently celebrated a birthday. So happy belated birthday to Keith. And we start.
And we know why you love Keith. You've got a little bit of extra love for Keith
Why is that?
because he was one of the
Oh,
goons
yeah, that's right.
that was beating up that sad sack Tim
God
Baker in No Retreat,
damn.
No Surrender Part 1.
That sad sack. Son of a. Tim Baker. What a ball of charisma. Anyway, we get the opening credits, and it's kind of like a Washington D.C. travelogue, Ryan Campbell, as we see some of the sights of our nation's capital.
That's right. We devoid of any military presence, though. Like if you go to DC now, but yeah, definitely setting the stage and using the camera to help tell the story is going to be something very frequent in this film.
And we get right into the action because there's a hostage situation at a bank. And it's the classic scene, Chris. You got the police surrounding the building. You got snipers on the roof. You got a helicopter flying over. And inside there's this radical group, and they're just firing bullets at the ceiling. And we get our first look at one of the stars of the film.
Yeah, the great Keith Vitali playing Casey Alexander, doing his best. Oh my God, I'm in deep shit, overacting. Because this is not an ordinary bank robbery. It's apparently to fund some type of, like you said, radical terrorist organization. And, you Americans are weak. We hate all you guys. Even though the guy that's like the lead terrorist looks like he could be playing a biker in another movie.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is just kind of like sitting there, like, kind of reminded me of the taco shop scene in The Toxic Avenger, where everyone's just like supposed to act really scared, and they're doing their best, like, "Oh my God, they're coming after me" face, and it's just like they didn't rein in their emotion enough. It was a lot of overexpressive reactions here.
So yeah, he makes it seem like he's like the biggest wimp, biggest coward in the room, and it's all a ruse though, because this man is a CIA agent of the greatest caliber. Yeah, he like offers up the attractive female next, like if you're gonna kill somebody, kill her. And he ends up taking a bullet to the wrist, which was actually done to cover an injury that he suffered while they were training for this movie. So a nice little call there on the fly to work that injury.
Very similar to Keith Cook and China O'Brien.
Correct. Yeah. Those they didn't play back then. You were working with those Hong Kong stunt people. You better come ready.
I've seen this part before. I can't. Was this like a scene of the week, or did you show me just this scene at some point?
Watched this entire movie, Ryan Campbell.
I was gonna. My guess was because there's some others watching it. There were like bits and pieces that like fired synapses in my brain, and my thought was we probably did like just watch it one Saturday or something at your
we
place.
definitely watched this one. This would have been one I've been like, as soon as I had a captive audience, like, you're gonna watch this. So yeah, Casey springs into action, takes the bullet, leaves with the hot blonde, and then we meet the other half of the equation, Will Alexander, played by Loren Avedon, and I really like Ryan Campbell that he has a bus stop sign at his school to help set the mood for a street fight scenario.
Always good to use, you know, visual storytelling of the area to set the scene. But yeah, he's got a very interesting school and a very interesting teaching style.
He does. And that class is interrupted when the phone rings, and it is Will's retired dad, longtime CIA man, John Alexander, played by the great Joe Campanella. And John is checking in to see if will be at his big birthday bash that's coming up, and mentions wanting to spend some quality time with his sons. And Chris, we quickly find out that Will and Casey do not get along.
Yeah, we've got these brothers are estranged from each other, so of course this is pretty much obvious to any action fan worth his salt that this is the test of something's about to go down, and can these brothers coexist and get along in their fight for justice?
So when John is done talking to Will, he turns his attention to his computer monitor, where we get some ancient computer graphics slowly loading, and we see an albino haired baddie. This is what, like, back when you were looking at porn, right, Toyman? It was really slow loading. It was very annoying.
I mean, this is even before GeoCities. I mean, this made GeoCities look like AI at this
Right.
point.
Oh, this
And
movie
no,
does some very interesting things with its computer work that we're going to get to in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I will have you know that when I was a teenager, I was not utilizing the internet for ill-gotten means such as that, because it was a family computer, which was right in smack dab in the middle of the living room. So I don't think it would have been appreciated if I was,
Looking at like
scouring the seas for anything
Terry
inappropriate.
Hatcher nudes. You weren't looking that up.
No, because Terry Hatcher was already in The Cool Surface with Robert Patrick
I
in
think
1992, and that movie was on a
I think that's
VHS
the
tape.
picture that popped up if you searched it. If in theory, I don't know anybody who was doing that.
That was
I
what
had that
Mr.
movie
That's what
on
Mr.
a
Skin told you to search for.
I had that movie on a VHS tape with Meatballs 4.
I bet you did. So yeah, we see this. We get the first glimpse of this bad guy. But then this car pulls up outside of John's home, and it's obviously looks like government car, government guys, and but the music's a little bit ominous. Like, what's going on? Next thing you know, John is holding a gun to his buddy McPherson's head, because that's how you greet your old CIA pals.
Ha 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 ha. Old friend.
And the greenhorn rookie, he's just tied up in the trees, and just let him think about what he's done. So they go inside, and Mac's there and is like, "Hey, you're on the hit list, and I think it has something to do with the guy on your computer screen." But
always turn the monitor off before you greet the guest. That's the rule. Right.
Yeah. Like, why? Where'd you get that Terry Hatcher screen cap? Anyway, Mac offers John, you need a bodyguard, you want some protection. He's like, that's freaking ridiculous. I'm freaking, I'm retired. I ain't dead yet. Anyway, John refuses and is like, hey, I'll see you at the big birthday bash. And we then go to see a little montage of what Will and Casey are doing on their off time. And Will is training, and Casey is banging.
Both men engaging in various forms of physical activity, and Casey decides that he's going to, he's the ladies' man, as we'll see throughout this movie. He's not just a one-woman man. He's living that bachelor life, and Will is living like that. Not as much of a sad sack as Jason Stillwell's father from the first film, but he's alone. He's training. We see him with his car, like on the side of the road, people driving by, getting sprayed by a puddle. So Will's definitely gotten the short end of the stick as far as the Alexander brothers.
Oh, for sure. And the movie does a good job of like quick cutting back and forth to really establish that they're both at very different, ends of the spectrum. But yeah, if you knew nothing about Keith Vitali's character, his facial expressions will tell you exactly what he's doing in this movie.
Yeah. I like his swanky.
He loves life. We'll say that.
does.
He really enjoys life.
He has quite the swanky bachelor pad. I like it.
And a nice Porsche.
Oh yeah. He
Yeah, that whole Casey character seems like it was very Sonny Crockett inspired in a way.
Could be. So yeah, as you guys mentioned, Will on his way to the party is delayed because of car trouble. We cut to the party, and I want to just say that they show the whole spread, and none of that food on the table at all looked appetizing to me. I don't even know if I could tell you what some of that stuff was. Just a strange assortment of stuff on trays.
I did love, though, they did one of this movie more than the other Lucas Lowe's that at least I've seen. It does so much cool stuff with cameras. Like for being in the 90s, it's almost like they're filming this with like an iPhone or a handheld, because there are so many flowing, moving shots. There's one here where it starts like on the tray, and then the guy quickly pulls it away, and the camera kind of like swooshes up, and it's moving through the party. And there's all kinds of cool stuff. Like the movie does really stylistic things with the camera, and this party does a lot of kind of cool. As opposed to most movies would be like, okay, it's a party. They lock the camera down. We get a shot here. We get a shot here. Like we're moving. I feel like I'm at the party, Brain.
Well, you know who is at the party is Jack Adderton, played by Luke Askew, who we just saw last week when we covered Bulletproof. And that was the little teaser I said I had in mind for this week if we couldn't get a special guest. And obviously we couldn't. Luke Askew is the connecting tissue there. And he's basically the guy who took John's spot when John retired. And there seems to be something askew about him, Chris.
Yeah, again, I've used this before, but it makes me think again of that Mystery Science Theater 3000 reference, that Time Chasers episode where the evil industrialist steps out of the plane, and all of a sudden Mike's just like, "Hi, I'm Bob Evil," and it's
Step
just,
into my mezzanine.
yeah, just the most glaring example of like, okay, this guy's up to some shady shit. Like, how long until he turns on the main characters?
So then Casey's like, oh, yeah, Will, I'm going to shit talk him because he's not here yet. So he does that. But next thing you know, here comes Will in his Volkswagen, and he pulls up and parks amongst some trees.
Just in the middle of the forest. No, this is like a mansion. You can't tell me it doesn't have a driveway. Like he went out of his way.
Maybe the driveway was full because he was late.
I guess he just went out of his way to pull into the backyard and come around through the trees.
And yeah, everybody, all kinds of people look. They all look in his direction. It's like, just eat your nondescript food that was on trays and shut your freaking mouths, people. But Casey goes over there and it's like he sees he's got the hammer and sickle and CCCP on his jacket, and he's like, "What the hell are you wearing that here for?"
Nikita Koloff would be very jealous.
Yeah, he would. But John Alexander may not be a big fan. But yeah, so he gives him shit about that. But hey, we got to sing "Happy Birthday," guys. Stop fighting. And we get quite the rendition of "Happy Birthday" and Joe Campanella hamming it up as everybody serenades him. And afterward, then, while everyone's gathered, Casey uses that moment to say, "Hey, Dad, look at this great gift me and Will got you." And it's an around the world ticket so he could visit all these countries that he went to during his working life. But now he could do so, Ryan Campbell, leisurely and enjoy the singing.
Yeah, not trying to like upend regimes, but Brian, what is an all around the world ticket a real thing?
Yes.
You just like, it's just a pass.
Back then, yes. Nowadays, it'd be very complicated.
Yeah, you would have like all these connecting flights from 20 different airlines. But yeah, I didn't know if that was like with one ticket, we'll jet set you across the world and land.
I mean, I guess if you like, it was like a private jet that could take you anywhere. I don't know how much money is Casey making over there at the CIA.
We said first class.
That's true. It would be commercial then, yeah. Well, there you go. Well,
I'd also like to point out the continuity error there because we've already established that the brothers don't get along and the dad is trying to unite them. And here's Casey being like, "Hey, we combined forces and got you this great gift." It's like, who are you trying to
that's
fool?
called a birthday surprise. Wouldn't that be a surprise that they actually agreed on something?
Yeah, and it's a dad who desperately wants them to connect. So like there's a catharsis need inside there that like he wants to believe that they did this for real.
Even if he knows.
This movie has no holes.
Well,
Toyman, don't start poking.
Yeah, you're right. He wants to believe it. He probably doesn't believe it, but he wants to, so he just goes with it. But of course, Will is offended by this because it's just another opportunity for his brother to show how much better he is. So he storms off. They have a little back and forth, and we get the first Casey Alexander is very good for giving us bastards in this movie. I think he may say every one of them. But we get the first one he calls Will.
This is why it's your favorite of the sequels.
It may be. And I may not have realized it at the time, like the first time I saw it, but it all comes together. But yeah, he calls Will a selfish bastard. So then we cut to Will, who's now on his way back home. And we don't really know exactly how far away he's living from Washington, D.C. area. I would assume maybe the father lives in Virginia, maybe.
I was going to say probably Virginia. Yeah. It looks very like a upscale Virginia suburb outside D.C. kind of vibe. That's what I'm getting.
And then he's like, "Oh, I forgot to give my dad the actual gift I bought him." What do you guys think Will bought his father?
That's a great question. I'm going to assume something like not thoughtful that like is, I don't know, maybe it's like a fancy like chi or something from his school, but his dad wouldn't care about that.
Okay.
See, this was 1990. I'm going to guess a WWF Superstars coloring book.
All right. I would guess.
What do you get the spy that has everything?
I would guess that he got him a handmade ashtray for his pipe.
I like it. And it looks all just like shitty high school pottery class.
Yeah, there's probably like a pottery studio next to his dojo. And he's probably fucking the lady who runs it. And they had like a ghost moment in.
Do we know? I mean, we don't really establish that he's like a ladies' man, though.
That's just his only lady. He's not like his brother betting everything. That's just a lady who's convenient. He sees her all the time, and it's like, one thing leads to another, and he's screwing the pottery lady.
They're both small business owners, which takes a lot of time. Doesn't leave a lot of time to go out and find. I get it.
Right.
See, when you say the pottery lady, is it like a young pottery lady,
she's very
or is
young.
it like some divorcee that's like 52?
No, she's very young.
And she's just running the studio to stay occupied.
She might be the pottery lady from Karate Kid Part 3. Remember? She sold the pots for the bonsai tree. That was a few years earlier, so and she was legal. She was a college age. Yeah. Anyway, we go back to the party, which is now winding down. The guests are leaving. The staff is cleaning things up, and Casey's like, "I'm gonna take Amy back home, but I could call her a cab or something if you want to talk." And he's, "Oh no, you take her back home, stud. Give her one for me." And then John goes in and he has the pipe and he's just chilling in his recreation room or study. I don't know what that is, but he's there.
As one does after their big birthday bash is over. Just left, yeah.
All the noise and all the people, and now he's just
hoping that his boys are out there just plowing everything.
Yeah, he's a proud father. Then he hears someone come into the house, and Will, is that you? But it's not Will at all. It's somebody there to kill John Alexander, just as Mac warned him. But John, he's able to take him out, Chris. It's a bit of a struggle, but he's still got some fight in him.
not only does he have some fight in him, but he's apparently living in Inspector Gadget's house.
Well, yeah, we'll get into more of
Because-
that. Oh, yeah. That first thug doesn't get half the gimmicks that he's about to. Oh, my God. I love it. Go on. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, this was pretty much like the only toe-to-toe battle. He's getting choked out and he manages to give him like a Monty Brown style pounce
Yeah.
that sends him flying over the railing. Just, he took a Javon Evans style bump on that
did.
one. And then we start getting into the meat and potatoes of the home invasion.
Well, yeah, so he takes the first guy out, and then phone rings, and it's Will from a payphone, I guess, to say, hey, Dad, I'm on my way back. Probably want to make sure you're up, or maybe you're just sitting there watching Murder, She Wrote. I don't know. But yeah, the phone line dies, though, right as the conversation starts, so now Will's very worried.
That's the universal sign that your father's being killed by an assassin.
I think so. So John then finds himself face to face with that albino-haired baddie from the computer screen. It's Franco, played by Ryan Hunter. And now is where I will turn it to Chris, and he will tell us everything Ryan Hunter's ever been in.
Well, he's been in a film that we talked about not all that long ago. He was in Cage with the one and only Lou Ferrigno.
And then
I know that one off the top of my head. Do you want me to go back to his IMDb?
An episode
and
of something.
down?
Wasn't he in an episode of What's Happening Now or something?
He was one episode.
I believe he was.
Because you mentioned that. I figured that was the first thing you were going to mention, and I still.
He was also on The Fall Guy.
Oh, there you go.
He was in The Fall Guy. Yes. Oh my God. I can think it was like a stuntman battle episode.
Mm-hmm.
That
Who was he in that episode with?
Lee Majors.
Well, The Fall Guy was the only stuntman.
Gene LaBelle.
Oh, what else was he in? What's that?
Was Gene LaBelle in that episode?
I don't think so. No, he was in. Jeffrey Lewis was in that episode.
Okay, very good. Well, yeah. Once Franco gets in,
an episode of What's Happening Now.
That's right.
And let's see what else. Hold on.
I did this one to myself, people.
You did.
You did do this one to yourself.
I just wanted What's Happening Now.
I remembered Cage. I forgot about the What's Happening Now, which shocking.
You remembered when we did Cage.
But I do remember Cage. That's right.
All right. Well, here's what I remember. John has all sorts of tricks in his house. He's got a machete under the table.
I did like that one.
But my favorite thing, and the thing I really want to have in my house, is a switch that has disorienting flashing lights so you can get away. But none of that really matters when you get a dart to your chest. And then a kick. Oh my God. This scene is why this movie is my favorite of the three. He gets kicked so powerful. He goes through French doors, hits the balcony rail, down to the pool, dead. That's
Austin
how you
Theory like selling right there.
That's how you fucking die in a movie, people.
Through the window, over the banister, yeah, and whoever the stuntman that did that too, pretty excellent. Hits the water.
I want to believe it was Joe Campanella himself.
And to hit the water and instantly go to like death float pose.
Yeah, excellent.
Not like and go under and then cut to a shot of like the body coming up. No, all in one shot, one frame. Stuntman hits the water, instantly goes like death float. It's amazing.
Beautiful.
It might have been the best dive since the triple Lindy.
Yes, I would agree. That is a scene when it's never watched once. You got to at least rewind it one time and rewatch it again. I usually go for about 5. So yeah, a beautiful scene. Well done. One of the finest deaths I've ever witnessed on film. Not that I've witnessed them in real life. Okay, now Will now shows up after the bad guys have left, and he's like, gets inside, door's ajar, and he sees shit all torn up. And then he looks out and he sees his dad floating in the pool. And then Loren Avedon does what no other action star can do. He fucking emotes his fucking heart out.
I mean, when you're in a movie across from Keith Vitali, you've got to bring it when it comes to the emoting.
Mm-hmm.
And this was his opportunity, seen all to himself with his dad. He's like, I'm going to stage him up on this one.
And I have to imagine on the set, Keith Vitali was like, oh, fuck. I'm not going to be able to come anywhere close to that.
No, so he just tries to get him to move on with it. He takes a very unbrotherly, like, oh, this is actually really sad. Let's just cover him up and, let's, life sucks and then you die,
This happened in this line of work.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Why don't you just go sleep it off? We'll be
but you know what? That is also kind of, the realistic, because some people, that's how they would probably react. They'd be very so shocked that they would just try to put logic to it.
I'm going to say, because there does seem to be a big brotherly protection aspect, that he's worried that his younger brother will go on a vendetta spree.
Right.
So he immediately goes into protect mode. Maybe that's my headcanon of what he's doing there, because he knows how he'll just fly off the handle and he doesn't want him going after this guy. So that's why he's just kind of trying to get him off of the tragedy that he's literally holding in his arms.
And you also have to believe, as a CIA man, he has seen death before. So he might be a little...
He's been hardened.
Yeah, he's hardened.
I don't know if anything, though, it hardens you for your father being killed in his house on the day of his birthday. That's rough.
And they were supposed to go hunting.
Right. But he does say, I'll take care of the bastards who did this. So there you go. Thank you. Vitali, if you can't emote, put in a couple bastards, you'll be okay with me. We go to the funeral, which they obviously just shot a funeral. Will disrespects Jack there, because Jack's just a jackass. And Jack's like, where's my apology? And that just causes Will to storm off again. And Casey's even on. He's like, he doesn't owe you shit. And then he goes, again, to your point, Ryan's like, I gotta rein this kid in because he's about to do something foolish. And he's gonna take care of it. Don't worry, Will. We go back to work, back at Langley. Jack's like, you know what, Casey, you cannot be involved in the investigation of your father's murder. That's against company policy. What, maybe it would be a great time to take some R&R. And Casey plays along. He's like, you know what, I have always wanted to go to Hawaii. Oh, this is the perfect time. But instead, Ryan Campbell, and I'm sure this is a part that just tickled you, Casey goes into the file room and then goes to see his buddy Franklin.
Oh, I loved Franklin. Maybe my favorite side character of the movie. But yes, he grabs the top secret folder, Brain. And if you weren't aware that this was the top secret folder, he holds directly in front of the camera with the words top secret written on the folder.
Right.
Okay. So that's telling you that it's a top secret folder.
Mm-hmm.
And then as he walks out of frame, the camera then focuses in the same shot again on a sign behind him that says, all files must be signed out above the sign out station that he just walked away from. So that is all within that shot there. We've established it's a top secret folder and that he's not supposed to have it and that he is not following protocols by signing it out. And we just did all that in a matter of 10 seconds, whereas some movies will have 3 scenes to establish that.
No, we're
beautiful
efficiency. It did include a blow up of because John had on his desk a picture of him, Will, and Casey on their last hunting trip that ended in disaster. This has just a cutout of just John's face. That's
with the aviators and his hat and everything.
Yeah.
But then we gotta get to Franklin. Then we go to Franklin.
Right.
He's sitting at the beep boop machine, and it's the most 90s depiction of how the computers work. My favorite is when they show the screen and it says top secret on the computer screen and the cursor is blinking at the end of it because they literally just typed top secret into a Word document and then filmed it on the screen. And so then he's like, oh, let me, he's very sexual. Franklin doesn't get out much, you know.
Right.
So Franklin is making very sexual innuendos. He's implying that this computer is a female that I guess he's raping. I guess that's the only thing they can.
Yeah, he's like, oh, she loves it when I
Yeah, she likes it when I get
handle her
rough
rough
and
or
she's
whatever.
putting up a
Like,
fight and all this
whoa,
other stuff. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man.
back to mom's basement for you, buddy.
Right. But then all of a sudden, those top secret words, backspace, and it types out access granted. Fantastic.
Yeah. That's all you need to do. And we find out that Franco has been operating out of the Gulf Coast area of Florida. But what is he up to? Well, Casey, that's for you to find out. But Casey goes, leaves.
That's what I would say there, though. The movie's ahead of its time. I swear Casey uses Chat GPT here because he doesn't like go pouring through the files. He literally just types into the computer, why is he in Florida? Like it's what you like how you would ask Chat GPT.
Right.
So
He's ahead of it.
Movie's ahead of its time. I'll say
So
that.
Casey gets his info. He heads home with the file, and we get a scene that Ryan Campbell, you are very familiar with, thanks to a very special YouTube video you posted.
That's right. Little synergy going on our YouTube channel is the video version of one of Brain's excellent brainchilds of the Bulletproof Action site, World's Most Dangerous Parking Garages. And this very scene is in there. I think it's the very first scene in the compilation. So go check it out, like and subscribe. But yes, I do my best World's Wildest Police Videos impersonation.
John Bonnell, yeah.
Yep, Sheriff John Bonnell. And yeah, go check it out. Leave some comments. Let us know what you think. But yes, we get to the parking garage scene where he is on his way back to his car, and you know there's a girl that he could bang that's just laying there on the floor. But no, it is a trap, and then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, he gets attacked by multiple radical terrorists, nearly gets run over, but fortunately Will shows up and pushes him out of the way. And then Casey, when the kung fu fighting's over, he just starts shooting people, Chris. Because this is the big leagues, damn it.
Yeah, and Will's just like, they're all dead.
Yep.
And Casey's just nonchalant about it. It's like, well, you know, these things happen.
Yeah, see.
You're not in the life, kid. You don't get how these things go.
He pulled like the WWE, like this is the big leagues to someone who's been in the Indies for 25 years.
Mm-hmm. So he's like, okay, well, the cops are going to be showing up here. So why don't you take this file and head up to my place? I'll be there as soon as I can while I fill out the reports and tell everybody what they want to know. So he's doing that. Jack shows up and he's like, oh, again, reminding, hey, aren't you supposed to be taking some R&R? Oh, yeah, I got the flight booked and everything. Oh, good. Meanwhile, Will's there.
I mean, he could have just took his dad's around the world ticket, probably.
It may have been non-transferable.
Well, this was the 90s. This was pre 9/11, so he probably could just walk up with a ticket.
Red-handed it to a terrorist, and they would have been allowed.
He probably could have just banged the ticket lady and gone on without even having to get a ticket.
That is also true, and all the stewardesses on board as well.
All around the world, Brain. Take a tour.
Okay.
Abroad in every country.
Take a tour abroad.
There you go.
So Will's looking through the file, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go find my father's killer. So he leaves. By the time Casey gets up there, Will's gone. Door is locked.
Just to be a shitty younger brother, locks him out of his own apartment, too.
I loved it. Yeah, I will say this. Will Alexander has a beautiful penmanship. That note he left him, I really enjoyed the penmanship there. But Casey's like, okay, he didn't go home. I know exactly what he's doing because he's got the file. I'm going to go too. So we go to Florida, city on the go.
Butts in bathing suits.
Yeah.
Muscles on the beach.
What a scene of 90s Florida.
Somehow Will traded his beat up Beetle for a Mustang convertible.
It's called Hertz Rent-A-Car.
Oh, gotcha.
So there you go. He asked the pottery lady for some traveling money, and he went down there.
Did they make him a gigolo?
No, he just loan.
Just some money she keeps in the pot by the door, you know,
Yeah, right.
for a rainy day.
And that day has come. So we cut to the bad guy lair, and they're plotting something that involves the airport, but we don't quite know what exactly. And then Franco gets word that the hit on Casey did not go as planned, and that all the guys who went to go do it are dead. So Franco has a very classy moment of silence for the fallen radical terrorist comrades.
I thought maybe he'd
Did
do
you
like
recognize the terrorist that gave him the bad news?
Mm-hmm. No. Oh,
Very, very famous character actor named Mark McCauley,
right. You're right.
and he was in Bad Boys 1. He was like the enforcer in Bad Boys 1 that threw Will Smith through the window when they were first investigating why when the madam got killed.
Was he in the
He was the guy that killed the madam and then threw Will Smith through the window.
Punisher?
He was in The Punisher as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
So there's your connection to the Marvel Universe. He's in Too Fast, Too Furious, who's connected to that franchise.
Yeah, he's big time.
And are you ready for a connection that I don't think has ever been made on Bulletproof Action?
He was on What's Happening Now.
No, he was in From Justin to Kelly.
Ooh,
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for
I don't think you're
bringing
ready.
this to a screeching halt. All right.
Okay.
Are we reviewing
Kelly
that for Action?
Clarkson now has synergy with Bulletproof Action.
Is that getting reviewed for Actionversary week?
No.
I do own it.
Of course you do. If that was sent to me, it would not get posted. It would not get posted on Action. It probably wouldn't get posted any week, but it certainly would not get posted this week of all weeks.
That should have been the April Fool's post.
Yeah, that would be the
From
only
Justin to
day
Kelly.
that would. We're changing formats here because we're not getting the traction we'd like, so we're going to try something different. Anyway,
That may be a reality by April. Time April comes
it
around.
could. You never know. So they have the moment of silence. Casey is met at the airport by a friend who I'm assuming is works for like a CIA field office in Florida. He's like, "Oh yeah, we know where Will's staying. All right, take me there." And Will has left him a note that says, "Too late, sucker." And I enjoy that. And then we cut to Rick Martin's dojo. Toyman and Will gets quite the greeting from his fellow martial artist friends.
Yeah, what is it with the Alexanders getting into altercations as like a greeting?
Yeah.
First, we saw it with the dad pulling a gun on his buddy, and now Will goes walking into this dojo and he's jumped by 4 guys, and they kick the shit out of each other for 2 minutes. And so they're like, "Will, oh my God, hey, what's up, man?" Handshakes and hugs all around.
That's some kind of machismo thing, I guess. I don't know. But the time for those types of fun and games is over. Will's like, "I need you guys to help me find this scumbag named Angel."
That's before they all go outside and have a very nice, like, sitcom-esque meeting on the
Like,
side of a
sipping by the
hill.
water.
Yeah, they all kind of like sit down and put their like legs and their arms on their knees and just kind of gather around each other. It's very nice. It's good. This is a
Like
good group. I
from
like these
Macho Man.
guys.
On the dock. Meanwhile, Casey's like calling around looking for Will. And he's like, "You know what? We're both looking for these people. We're both hunting the bastard. I'll eventually run into Will, so why spin my wheels?" And then we cut to Will, who's
It's good reasoning.
Right.
Sound reasoning.
Will's
Plenty of other movies would have the guy being stupid and running around and we're all screaming like, dude, you're going to find him. You're going for the same person.
right. Or why don't you just call his cell phone is what some people would say today.
Those people would be dumb.
You're right. Anyway, Will's gathering info like on the mean streets. And he must find out where this angel hangs out. But we cut to a pool party for really no apparent reason other than we wanted to show off Maria, who's a real head turner, Ryan Campbell.
Oh, this party goes from a 10 to an 11 as all eyes focus on Maria for her corner of the pool dive and ascend from the water, breaching the water scene, the whole nine.
Oh, yeah, she's good. Wanda Acuna. Casey Alexander then shows up because he's got the poontang radar or something. But we learned that Maria and Casey knew one another in the past, and
biblically.
And then Casey, of course, fully dressed. You have to end up in the pool, right? Is that some sort of law?
In the most comedic way.
Very.
Yeah, you always have to flail and over emote.
Oh, he does.
More over emoting.
He extends every limb as far as it'll possibly go, and opens his jaw like wide, his eyes wide. Falls back into the pool.
One of our finest actors. Will has tracked down Angel at Angel's favorite watering hole.
Well, that's another one of the really great transitions in this film. Again, we're establishing the kind of duology of like Will being kind of down the dumps, gritty, and Casey being, high society. We hard cut to like a giant pitcher of beer sliding to the end of the bar, and a hand just comes in and grabs it. I love that shot. That was one of the ones that just, again, this movie has a lot of really cool camera work, and that's one that stuck out to me. The palette instantly changes to kind of grimy bar. It's like a very wooded yellow after we were just out in the sun. It's a good transition. Love it.
Will ponies up to the bar, orders a beer, threatens to cut a dude's balls off. All in a day's work.
As one does.
Will's friends then show up, posing as guys who are looking to hurt Angel. And of course,
just throwing slurs around.
Yeah. Some words that you probably would get in trouble for saying these days, and rightfully so. But
and even though they're supposed to be playing bad guys, it's so casual. I have to assume it was not only used in this instance.
No. We get the obligatory bar fight, and this is perfect because it puts Will on Angel's radar, or as we will find out, Will's alias, Jesse. And Jesse clears out the place, and Angel's instantly like, I think we could use a man like you. That's a way to get a job right there.
Angel's got an eye for talent.
I especially appreciate how he was beating the shit out of his friend behind the bar. Yeah. Well, quote unquote, beating the shit out of him. That he like threw ketchup on him and smeared it. Like that struck me as like a very like Roddy Piper type.
Yeah.
Movie.
Well, and
that in like a Piper type movie.
And the sense of glee they were getting throughout the whole thing. Like they're all just like making like
laughing. Laughing.
Yeah, they're laughing like, oh yeah. Take the ketchup, put it on you. Yeah. They're just having a really good time.
And like when the big dude goes down, like he whacks his head and then like he smiles before he falls back.
Yeah, they were having a hell of a time helping their friend. And we saw by their greeting, this is what they do for fun, just beating up on people and each other. We go back to Casey, who's telling Maria why he's in Florida. His father's been murdered. He needs her help to get to Franco. And now we find out that she also had some sort of connection in the past with Franco. And she's like, oh, not that shit again. Jesse's brought back to the bad guy headquarters where he does meet Franco. And then one of the guys is like, hey, that guy's a government agent. And then like, what? I'm not a what? And once again, we need another fight scene. We've gone like 2 minutes without one. So we get one, but that's just a test. But you know what the real test will be? Jesse's going to have to complete a blood trial. That will confirm.
A great name for a movie.
It is. That will truly confirm that he's worthy of being a radical terrorist. And we'll get to that in a moment. But meanwhile, Maria tracks down Angel at the bar. And she's like, hey, the FBI are doing some shit. You better watch out. Oh, thank you so much. Anything else? Yeah, I want to see Franco. Well, I'll let Franco know, but that's going to be up to him. So Maria doing a little overstepping there, and that'll come into play momentarily because now we're going to find out what this blood trial is. The bad guys want Will to go kill someone, or I should say Jesse. Angel gives Jesse the address and has some thugs there to make sure Jesse does the job he's supposed to do. The address happens to be Ryan Campbell, where Casey and Maria are shacked up.
Yeah, and he, I guess, doesn't, well, he wouldn't know in the Florida safe house address that his brother's using. But yeah, when Casey opens the door, Will springs right into action is a really smart thing. It doesn't go like, brother, like just instantly like
Right.
punches them to get into the door, and then kind of while they're fighting. And this is something you can really only do with characters that are brothers, because they don't stop to have to explain. They both just kind of, as they're going through the motions, are kind of explaining to each other what's going on. Like, oh yeah, they sent me to kill you. I'm on the inside. Oh, okay. So what you're saying is we got to make this look real. So it was really cool how like they didn't ever stop, and all this is going on as they're kind of like fighting it out like brothers. And then of course Play kills Casey, but not before he actually apparently ties him up in a duvet.
Yeah.
And just kind of leaves him there. But there's also the comedic cuts to the guys on the outside seeing
Peering
them,
in,
peering in. Casey having his face smashed up against the glass and just again, hamming it up and everything.
Yeah, and they just take it for face value that indeed Casey is dead. So they go back to the bad guy headquarters, and Franco's like, okay, here's what we're going to do at this airport. And then, hey, wait a minute. The man has arrived, and he wants to meet Jesse.
Ruh-roh.
Toyman, how shocked were you to find out the identity of the man?
I was shocked that it took this long. I figured we would have gotten a little bit more exposition, because they were throwing, we've got Franco, then we've got Angel. So it's like we've got this kind of conglomerate of evil that are all tied in. It's like, okay, so was this like a step too far? And it's like, no, they've already established this. So obviously it makes sense that the CIA guy is the bigwig behind this whole terrorist operation here.
Yeah, that fucking Jack Adderton is like, oh, hello, Will. So the jig is up.
More like Jack Asserton.
Ooh, you're right.
I was kind of curious for a moment though, like, would we know that he would even know what Will looks like?
Yeah, he met Will. He was disrespected by Will at the funeral. He saw him at the party.
At the funeral, that's what I was going to say. Well, at the party, like
at the party, he may have missed him, but
right, he could have missed him because Will was only there
at
the funeral. One is probably what it was. Yeah,
and he's also should know who these people are because he's in the CIA. So yeah, next thing you know, they got Casey. They figured out obviously he probably didn't really kill his brother, so they capture Casey, tie him up to the electroshock gimmick. We get some you bastards and a that bastard. And now
looked like he was tied to the backstage interview set from Raw in '97.
Right. And so now Will, who is still going to have to do the job because, you know what? We got you all ready for this. We know you could do it. And if you want to keep your brother alive, you're going to have to. And the whole mission is to take the Mozambique ambassador who's flying into Tampa, take him hostage so the press will swarm, and then Will could read the revolution's demands. It's all about giving them a stage and a platform.
Yeah, I went back and forth about this, about whether it makes sense to even trust him to go do it.
Right.
Like you're letting him leave, like that just enters in a huge fly in the ointment of your plan. But I think as we see the plan comes out, I'm more okay with it.
Well, and Franco does show he's got that remote control. So he's going to be there. If Will tries anything, he can just hit that button from wherever he's at.
Yeah, but again, you're still just introducing a giant variable to your very important plan, where it'd be just easier to just kill them both right now and move on. But as it goes forward, I think it makes more sense.
Yes. And I don't know that. You talked about there being no holes. There's going to be a very giant hole in a bit. But it's okay because this movie has already built up so much goodwill that's when you can let things slide a bit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Some Goodwill Alexander, you mean?
Thank you very much, Toyman. So yeah. Oh, now guess what? They also have Maria, and Franco really had Maria last night, Toyman.
Yeah, this is the only part of the movie where things start getting a little too what's the word? Rapey. A little bit too. Right. They start getting into like a lot of like exploitative type of content. And it's like, okay, like, the whole movie, I mean, obviously we've had the violence, we've had some killings and stuff, but it hasn't been anything like too gory, too sensational. It's, if anything, some of the stuff's been silly, like we said with the father's death and everything. And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, now we're gonna objectify Maria and get, kind of lewd and crude for 5 minutes here. And, we don't get any nudity or we're not lingering on anything too sexual, but just like the commentary, it was like, wow, like this is kind of taking a turn script
Yeah,
wise.
that big guy, he's like, I'm gonna rip her blouse off and tear her up. And they're all
It looks like that Franco had not only had her last night, but enough to take her dress off and cut like ridges into the bottom of it to help sell that how ravaged it is.
oh yeah, she was ravaged. But the guards are now, of course, they're trying to take her top off. They get distracted, and Casey's able to use the old shoe blade trick. Next thing you know, he's out, she's out, and they're making their way to the airport, where Will has just gone inside. When the Mozambique ambassador shows up, Will somehow got up into the ceiling. I don't know how he's being supported by those acoustic tiles, but he was. And he drops down, and then he uses the animal tooth necklace that the ambassador was wearing as a weapon. Improvising, Ryan Campbell.
That's what they needed. That's why they hired him. He was the perfect guy.
Because
They needed
you couldn't bring a gun into.
Nope, can't take a gun in. You gotta fight your way in and fight your way out.
So then Casey and Maria arrive at that point. Casey's like, I'm going to go inside. You wait here. Just moments later, Angel comes up to the car and is like, you can't park here. Oh, shit. So she's captured again. Casey is now involved in the airport with Will, and they're taking the ambassador out to a private plane that I don't know how they knew it was there. And then they just kind of let the plane like taxi.
There's also a car sitting there right outside the warehouse when Will and Maria escape.
Yeah.
That's just sitting there right outside the door for them to hop into. So
and then while they're like getting the ambassador into the plane, Casey looks out the window and sees Air Force One arriving, because that just shows up at any time randomly.
And not just Air Force One, the Air Force One.
Right.
I can't recall a movie of this caliber, like not set in a real, doesn't totally depict the real world or real world events, that uses real footage of Air Force One, and not only the actual sitting president's name, but shows, I assume, like open source news footage of President George H.W. Bush getting off Air Force One, walking around, shaking hands.
And
amazing.
He's nearly assassinated.
Yes, in the crosshairs. The movie shows the sitting U.S. president at the time in the crosshairs of a sniper rifle. That's wild.
That's to your point, that's really ingenious. A film of I'm not even going to say this caliber, but this budget. This is a low budget B movie action film, and they used public domain footage. I think it's CBS News, because you could hear the commentary from the reporter. So I think it was actual CBS News footage, but then they're splicing it in with the footage of Franco and his goon, with the sniper, the sight locked in. So it's not like where you're watching a movie and in the background on the TV you get that public domain footage, or in like a montage to start things off.
They're cutting to it as if they shot it. Yeah.
Right, like as if this is real time, this is really happening. And as the plane, as Air Force One arrived, you could hear people saying, "Here comes the president." So you would be waiting for, President, John Smith or whatever to step off the plane, whatever, some guy with a mullet or something like that. But no, it was actual, and this was not, again, this is actual news footage, actual public domain available footage, again, from CBS News. This was not someone wearing a costume, wearing a prosthetic, trying to be someone they weren't. To Ryan's point, this was the actual president, the man in charge of the U.S. at the time, being used as a target for assassination in a movie that was not even in American theaters.
I was fascinated by it because, like, at first they show Air Force One. I'm like, dang, that looks really good. Did they like paint up, and I thought maybe they got like just some
Like an old plane.
Some old footage of Air Force One, on a documentary about it. And then I heard, the news person say President Bush, and I was like, oh, holy shit, that's crazy that they're actually going to say it's President Bush and not just make up some fake president. And then that some bitch walks outside the door, and I was like, holy, I could not think of another movie that's ever done something similar like that. I mean, we've had some that have like spliced in footage of actual presidents, like Forrest Gump used real presidents and used footage. We've seen some other times.
Don't forget
but
your favorite Missing in Action 2 showed the Ronald Reagan speech at the Vietnam Memorial.
That's correct. Yeah. I guess that would have been the sitting president at the time too.
Yep.
So
but they weren't trying to murder him.
No, that was more like a setting the stage thing, not like key plot point.
Right, because we find out that whole Mozambique thing, that was like the red herring. That was just to get everybody's attention
and that
distracted.
And that's why I was cool with them sending Will on the journey, because one, they did actually need somebody that could fight their way in and get to that, because like someone had to get at least to the ambassador. So it had to be someone with skill. So they did need him, and he's 100% expendable because once he got there, they don't give a shit anymore because it was all red herring.
Even if he did say like, "Hey, they're trying to kill," like they would have been like that still would have caused a commotion.
And even when they get Maria, and I'm sure they assume if Maria was free, then Casey is too. They also don't even care because they're assuming that Casey's going to fall for the red herring and get
right.
And
he was in there with his brother.
Yeah, it was a pretty tight plan once it all kind of rolled out.
It is and it isn't, because I don't know about. I would think if the president of the United States,
the CIA would know.
The president of the United States was coming into an airport, you wouldn't just be able to like. There should be freaking security every 2 feet. There should be somebody there, and like Will just strolls into the airport. I know it's pre 9/11 and things were different then, but again, I think things were high alert when the president.
Well, and it wasn't even like a surprise visit that like only the CIA would know about.
Right.
Like the news lady is saying that they're there for
to cover it
on a scheduled event. So like, I mean, whenever the president comes around, it's on the news for days. They're telling you what roads are going to be closed. Everyone knows that the president's coming to town. So that's a little bit of a stretch. I'll give you that.
But again, if this was a shit movie all the way up to this point, I would be roasting it. But I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I applaud your ingenuity. And again, they use that stock footage or public domain footage, and it blends in seamlessly. It's not where it's that off-putting, like, okay, this is just obviously not something that they shot, and it works. It all works. And fortunately for George Bush, the brothers Alexander thwart his assassination attempt, and then Maria shows up there and sees Will, and she shoots him because she has no idea. Unlike Jack Adderton, she has no idea who the hell this guy is. She thinks he's one of the bad guys.
Which I really like that little element. Like, it didn't need to be there. She didn't need to acknowledge it at all. She could have just like run up and been like, "Oh, he's my brother," but like they've established that she kind of goes beyond what she needs to be. Like, she wants to do more and be more active. So yeah, she was like, "Oh, there's another guy," and shot at him. I just, there's just another little element that didn't even have to be there in plenty of other movies at this point in the finale, or like whatever. Don't give a shit about that anyway. But there's another little moment that I didn't need to be there, but I appreciate that it was.
So Will's going to go in a bit injured for the big hangar showdown, Chris. And this is probably the most definitive scene of this film, as Will and Casey now on the same page, teaming up, taking on the two guys responsible for killing their father.
And technically, an airport hangar is just a parking garage for planes.
Mm.
So this might be another world's most dangerous parking garage scene.
Oh, we also could have had warehouse and airport.
Yeah, definitely airports or airport hangars would be a possibility. Time Chasers has quite the airport hangar fight with the assistant janitor showing up.
And PD the plane.
Right.
But I appreciate this final scene. I mean, the fights have been great in this film. The fights are the most fun portion of it. Other than, we're busting on the overacting, and we've kind of come to expect that from Loren Avedon.
Oh, I love it. Point. I mean, that's like his signature.
That's his thing.
Right.
That's it, that's his gimmick. But the fights are awesome, and this final fight, especially once it comes down to Franco against both of the Alexander brothers, this was like an old school kung fu fight because in so many of those movies, the ones that you and I tend to fall down the rabbit hole with, it's not always even the odds. Sometimes you actually will get two baby
That's
faces
almost
facing an
always.
insurmountable
Right.
foe, and that's what we got here. And just with their technique and their skill and the way that this one was shot, with Franco not only being the ultimate villain of the story, but he had his little dart gimmick, like that little
Yeah.
blade gimmick and stuff too. So he was almost kind of like a super villain of sorts. Like they needed to combine forces in order to take him down.
Yeah, and just some of the bumps these guys take in this thing, it is. If you've never,
He kicked Avedon right across the floor, like he slid
yeah,
right across the
just
floor.
amazed. This is the definitive scene for this movie. I love the Joe Campanella death scene, but I can understand that this is the scene everybody talks about after they see the movie. So it ends on the highest of high notes, Ryan Campbell. And of course, though, Jack Adderton also shows up. And that's where we see just how Bob evil he is, Chris.
Yeah, because he turns on Franco and he's about to kill the brothers because he's going to take all the credit for stopping this assassination attempt and saving President
Right.
Bush.
It's a pretty foolproof plan. I mean, he would look really good coming out of this.
Yeah. And
save the ambassador, save the president, killed some terrorists. That's a promotion for sure.
And he can then just go back, and it would be even more unbelievable that he had anything to do with anything evil going forward, because it's like, this guy's a freaking hero. He saved the president, for God's sake. But Maria has other plans.
Do you think that was his plan the entire time? Like, did he always?
I think that was his.
Like, was he using?
That was his
Was he
contingency
using
plan.
Franco? Okay,
like if they pulled off the assassination, so be it. Fine. But yeah, he wasn't going into this where he'd be open for any trouble. He was like, he had many ways out of this situation because he's Jack Assholeton. But yeah, good does eventually triumph over evil thanks to Maria. Hit the end credits. Final thoughts. Ryan Campbell, what do you got to say?
I absolutely loved this movie. And props to the Internet Archive where I watched it from. The quality of that, whatever version they've got uploaded, is insane.
I would imagine it was probably a Laserdisc rip.
I wonder if it's the international DVD.
Or it
is a really high quality, crisp, clean version. Like probably one of the better versions of a direct to VHS movie that we've covered. But leading to, I think this may be my favorite direct to VHS that we've covered. It's just a fun movie. It knows exactly what it is. It's tight. It is other than maybe a few little things at the end, but like we've touched on, it's built up so much goodwill by then that we don't really care. Both brothers have a full kind of arc and story that we're cutting back and forth to. A lot of times in this movie, a lot of times movies like this can't handle one character, let alone two that need like fleshed out and stuff happening. And the action's really good. That final fight is tremendous. Like you said, the stunt work and the cells and everything, and the camera work that I've touched on throughout. It is just a tight, really solid movie that I thoroughly enjoyed a lot more than I thought I would.
I think the soundtrack too. I think they did a good job with the music here.
Yeah, this one is, I mean, if you've never seen it, folks, you've got to check this thing out. It is, again, it's probably my favorite seasonal altogether. And maybe just edging out King of the Kickboxers, but it's up there. And I think it is, to your point, because you've got two great main characters, Ryan, and part of that may be playing into just their actual personalities. And maybe Keith Vitali was a ladies' man back then. It wouldn't surprise me. And maybe Loren Avedon is a very emotional human being. That too wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, this one, top of the charts. Toyman, what do you have to say?
This is another one that ranks high on my list as well. I think we can all go down with this podcast being the official unanimous vote that this is a great film. I love this one. I actually remember finding it in the video store the week that it came out. I actually was mentioning that earlier today as I was rewatching it at home. So this one is one that I can literally remember from day one watching it. Obviously, the lack of availability through the years makes it one that I don't get to return to as often as I'd like, but it's goofy, but the goofiness has a charm to it. It's not goofy where you're like, oh, this effing movie, like, come on, we got to deal with this crap. It's like, you know what you're getting with Loren Avedon. We saw it in King of the Kickboxers, which was played a little bit more seriously because with this one, with kind of the bickering with Casey and the vibe with the brothers, it's almost like you kind of expect some goofiness with it, like that adult sibling rivalry aspect to it. So I think that plays really well. And Keith Vitali, it's funny because, people might know him only from Revenge of the Ninja,
Hmm.
being the short-lived sidekick to Sho Kosugi
Right.
there. So to see him kind of have a bit of a personality here, a little bit of that swagger, like I said, I feel like the wardrobe, the hot car, like it feels very Miami Vice-ish. Like I think like there's a little bit of inspiration of Sonny Crockett there. But the fights, I mean, it was old school kung fu all the way, right up till the final fight. I think all the fights were handled well, even especially the fights with the friends, like Will's allies and stuff. It's like something right out of a Sammo Hung
Hmm.
movie. It's just goofy fun, and you can get behind all of the characters. And other than that one little sidetracked 5 minutes where things got a little bit too like, all right, what are we going for here? Kind of feeling like we're going deep into the grindhouse territory. I mean, there's nothing exploitive. They were in Florida. They weren't, flashing naked women on the beach or anything like that. It was just like brothers fight, kung fu
Yeah.
fight. Brothers argue, kung fu fight. Brothers captured, kung fu fight. So the movie is not boring at all. It's very nicely paced, and it's just completely pure popcorn action fun.
Yeah. I mean that was the strength of these seasonal movies. They bridged the best of both worlds. You had the characters that you'd expect from an American action movie, but you had that Hong Kong choreography. And wow, again, the fact that they only did 7 of them is a crime. But I'm glad we got the 7 that we got. So there you have it, folks. It is our No Retreat, No Surrender 3 Blood Brothers podcast. A movie absolutely fitting to be a part of Actionversary Week over on bulletproofaction.com. Also,
And on the YouTube with
that's
the
right.
World's Most Dangerous. Go check it out.
Check it out on our YouTube channel. Also, let us know what you think about the movie. Let us know what you think about some of the great posts that are going up this week on social media at Bulletproof Pod on X and Blue Sky, and at Bulletproof Action on Instagram and Facebook. Gentlemen, it's back to school season. And next,
Dun, 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 dun,
not
dun,
that
dun,
back to
dun, dun,
school,
dun.
although
I will be watching.
I
it.
wouldn't be against it. No, next week right here on the podcast, we're going to do something back to school related because we are going to party like it's 1999. We're going to cover the class of 1999 right here on the Bulletproof Podcast. I also want to mention also next week, my latest appearance on the Direct to Video Connoisseur podcast will be dropping, and I chatted with Matt about American Samurai.
Ooh,
Pretty cool.
not the director's cut.
No, we
I knew it was coming. I knew the comment was coming.
no, we do mention the director's cut, but we just went with the
I am interested in hearing
we
your thoughts, or if you walk around it.
we do mention some of the things that the director's cut did take out of the film, and I mean 2 of the things definitely needed taken out of the film. So and some other comments were made as well. So that's all up on the DTVC podcast, which should be available at the same time that our class of 1999 drops. So check both of those podcasts out if you just have not heard enough from me. Anything else you want to say, Ryan Campbell, before we go?
No, I'm good. I don't know if you're picking up the purrs of my kitty on the microphone.
Oh, very good. The cat has been recovered, folks.
That's right. She went on, I guess, on a little action adventure of her own for a few hours. I couldn't find her, but yeah, she's back. But yeah, go check out the YouTube page again. Really appreciate it. Definitely getting some traction over there. I'd love to be doing more kind of content instead of just putting up the posts. So
Right.
let me know what you guys think, and what other possible World's Most Dangerous you want to see for the next
We can
version.
go to a factory next.
There's a bunch. I mean, there's quite. You've done a lot of. You've given me a lot of material to
Factory,
work off of.
hospitals, gas
World's
stations.
most dangerous
Yeah.
schools.
Yeah, schools will be sometime. Yeah, I definitely have that list, ever growing list. So that's one of those ones where it's like, okay, I got to figure out which of the ones I want to do in this first volume. Toyman, do you have anything?
I was just going to say my top suggestion that just popped in my head would be The School from Only the
Oh
Strong.
yeah,
I would suggest that one.
right.
That would be high on my list for a very dangerous school.
Donovan dies.
Yeah, not only is Mark Dacascos brought in because of the kids that are there being a danger to themselves, but then the school catches fire and Donovan dies in the
Yeah.
fire. So it's almost the double whammy of danger.
It's pretty good. Not for Donovan.
But I was going to say, just to continue to hype myself, please read the latest No Surrender Cinema, focusing on The Stray from PM Entertainment with the late, great Michael Madsen. Go back a couple of weeks for a new edition of Essential Episodes, focusing on the amazing Incredible Hulk series from the 70s through the 80s, Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno. I've got some choice episodes from that series, which sadly is not easily available everywhere right now, but you can luckily
You
get
can
it
make it
pretty
happen though,
cheap on
Toyman. You've
physical
done it
media.
before. You did it with China O'Brien too. Can you do it again with the Incredible Hulk TV series?
You know what? It's been on Tubi, even the TV movies I was just mentioning earlier that they've been taken down. Maybe that means that, who knows, maybe NBC Universal wants the rights back for Peacock.
Could be.
Maybe we'll see it pop up there. But I've got the regular DVD releases. I've actually been tempted to grab the Blu-ray release, so we'll have to see. But at any rate, everyone knows who the Incredible Hulk is. I don't think he's a stranger to anyone. So check out some of the most famous episodes of the TV show, some of my personal favorites. And I'm not going to steal Brain's go home line, but keep tuning on into the podcast because we've got some great stuff planned.
For back to school in September.
One other thing, real quick, Brain. I do want to thank Luke Spark and the Primitive War team
Oh,
for
yeah.
retweeting our review. Go check that out. I know I was a little bit surprised. I knew it was kind of a indie film, but there was only one theater and one showing in my entire area to catch it. So if you didn't get a chance to check it out in your area, our review is up and hopefully it'll be on streaming soon. But yes, thank you to them for retweeting out that and kind of helping to kind of push that out.
Absolutely. Probably, I mean, by the time this hits, it could be the number one post of the month so far, or who knows, because we've got a lot of heavy hitters coming up this week. So we'll find out. But yeah, that was one of those, like you said, Ryan, though, those like late summer surprises that they just slip in on you.
I love those. Those are some of my favorites. Like I mentioned in the article, like kids are going back to school, but you're not quite in fall mode yet, and you want that last trip to the theater to see something cool. And there's a window there for some really good movies that kind of sneak in and get some money. And this kind of scratched that itch for me.
Excellent. Yeah, there's some good stuff coming up in the months ahead as well. So stay tuned for that on bulletproofaction.com. Again, I should also thank everybody who's helped us get to this 11th Actionversary. Obviously, you two gentlemen have been a big part of it. You've definitely stepped up here to be a part of this podcast, which we've basically gone weekly on, where we never had done that before. And all your contributions on the site, all the guest writers who come into this crazy world that we've created and are more than happy to do so. And I'm very happy for them. And obviously the people who are clicking and reading and sharing and commenting on all our stuff. I mean, if we were just shouting into a void and nobody was reading, this would not have been going on for 11 years. So,
and we absolutely would do that.
That is true. I mean,
or in text, just long text chains back to one another. But this is pretty much all this podcast is saves us a lot of texting.
Right. I know there's things like Count the Bastards. No one's checking that out, but you know what? I enjoy keeping a list of all the bastard movies with 10 or more bastards. So I'm going to continue to do that. Maybe nobody will ever read it, but it's there for me. And eventually somebody might find it and be like, oh, this is very interesting. Maybe not. I don't know. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And as always, stay tuned for more of the Bulletproof Podcast.